Alright, what is up? Hope you're doing well, and welcome to week 4 of Fill of the Week. This week we have a request from Chris Langan, who wants to see some kind of fill in halftime that keeps the snare backbeat on beat 3. This is a great idea for fills, and this is something I've messed around with a lot, and you probably should too, because it's a very good way for you to be creative and have some fun with fills, but still maintain that solid backbeat time, especially if you play in a band, because then everyone has something to still kind of rely on. They know where you're at, they know what's going on, and you can still make some really tasty things happen around that. Also, Chris Langan is a great guy. I was recently on his podcast, the Up and Coming Drummer podcast, just last week. So if you guys want to check out that podcast interview, I will leave a link to it right up here and in the description below. So with all that said, let's dive into this week's fill. Hope you enjoy. So by now I'm guessing a couple of you recognize that groove I played on a ride bell. This is not a groove I came up with. This is from a song with a band, a really good song, and a really good drummer. So if you guys know where that groove comes from, let me know in the comments below. Okay, so now I want to give you guys a little broader tip this week for this fill and other fills like it, because a lot of fills are built up by smaller components, and this fill is no exception. You have the right, left, left kind of thing going on in the beginning, and then you have the snare on the left hand, bass drum, backbeat, bass drum, so it's kind of like hand foot, that kind of thing in the middle, and then you obviously have the hurdas at the end. So I would say this fill is built up from like 3 smaller components, and that's kind of how I created it too. And that's a lot of times that's how I go about creating fills. Sometimes I start with the whole idea, but a lot of times this one section leads into another, and you kind of get the full fill at the end. So what I'm trying to say is, with fills like this one, especially if you're having a little trouble getting the whole thing together, it might be a good idea to break it down into smaller segments, and that's a really good way for you to kind of figure out what about the fill that's kind of making it hard for you to put it together or to get it really tight. Usually there's like one little thing that keeps messing it up. Everything else is fine, like 90% of the fill you're doing right, but that one thing is throwing you off. So this is a good way to kind of find and realize what that problem is. So for me, when I practiced this fill and I wanted to get it really tight, I noticed that middle section with the left hand, bass drum, backbeat, bass drum, that kind of thing going like hand foot, that kind of messed up my timing a little bit in the beginning when I was practicing this. So I just basically forgot about the beginning, forget about the end, and I just practiced that thing, the like left foot, backbeat, foot, and just did that a couple of times to like really, fix and solve the core issue that was impacting the whole fill. And then I went back, put it together with the whole thing, practiced it again, and what do you know, it kind of worked a lot better than it did in the beginning. Now that section was kind of remedied, and I could play the whole thing and not really think so much about that anymore. So this is a really good practice tip for you to keep in mind with fills in general, and especially those that are really distinctively comprised of different kind of segments. Break them down, take your time, practice it slow, practice the segments one by one, put them back together when you feel like you can do that, and then everything will sound a lot better. So that will be everything I had for you guys this week. I am now sweating away because the air conditioning system in this entire building has stopped working, and they're not going to be able to fix it until after the summer. So I'm basically dying in here. I need to get some kind of temporary air conditioner system going on in my studio because this is starting to be pretty unbearable. So if you're wondering why I'm so sweaty in all my videos, that's what's going on. Either way, if you're watching this on YouTube, don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section below, letting me know and kind of requesting what type of fill you would want to see for next week's video, and I will look at all the comments and pick one for next week. So, take care guys, hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I will see you in a week from now. See ya!